Hey guys, welcome to the Gods Unchained beta with the TheProfesserf. Alright, it's time for our Monday Mythic meta for the ranked weekend event that ran on June 18, 19, and 20th. Let's take a look at the results. Alright, here's our top 20 players. We can see number 1 had 24 wins out of 25, very close. That's impressive right now, considering the changes to matchmaking, where Mythic players are mostly playing Mythic players or Ethereal Diamond. So definitely tougher matchups, and 24 wins is an achievement. We can see 3 other players only managed 22 wins, and we have 4 players with 21 wins. And again, these are unofficial. So 9th and 10th spot are still open. We have quite a few players with 20 wins. So let's go into more details. In our top 20 players, we had 7 players that played Light, 6 players that played Magic, and 5 players that played Death. We have 2 players in the top 20 that played Nature, and Deception and War had no players that made it into the top 20. So we can see the top 3 gods are still Light, Magic, and Death, similar to last week. Position flip-flopped a little bit, but these are the top 3 gods to play right now. Nature's getting a little bit of popularity, and looks like Deception and War are just not viable right now at the Mythic level to be competitive against all the other top decks. In our top 10, Magic took 1st place, 4th place, 5th, 6th, and 10th. Nature was able to capture the 2nd spot. Light took 3rd place, 7th, and 9th. And Death took 8th place. Magic was the top deck at 24 wins, followed by Light and Nature with 22 wins each. The best Death deck managed 21 wins. And as we can see here, the best Deception deck only managed 18 wins. So I limited my graph to 19 wins, but Deception managed 18 wins. And we still do not see War at all because the best War deck only managed 16 wins this weekend. Let's take a closer look at the decks our players used. Our 24-win Magic deck played Ramp, Control. We see our usual build here with the Clear Mind God Power. We have your Shadow Scars at the beginning, Pyramid Warden, removals with Star Shard Bolt and Tracking Bolt. You have Ramp with Sip of Elixir, Guardian of Gates, and Well of Power. You have removals with Ratify, Archimedes Mirror, Astric Implosion, Circe, and we're all familiar with the endgame of Demogorgon, Hylian Elites, Avatar Magic, Frey. Our best nature deck captured 22 wins. This one is a mid-range nature deck, caps out at 7 mana. We have the strong nature early game of Marshwalker, Shield Bear, Wild Hog, combined with Underbrush Boar, Axewoman, Faithful Blade, and Canopy Barrage. This deck removes the Black Jaguars, which is interesting play. Has a little bit of healing with Compose Charm. For 2 mana, you heal for 10. And you're probably going to play this card in the late game, so you will definitely have met the restriction of having 8 cards in your void, so you do get a card replacement in your hand when you play this. We have some removals here with Ordinary Goat, Lightning Strike, Selena, Wildfire. You have your Big Beast package with Overgrown Rhino, Avatar of Nature, strong turn 5 place with the Jaguar Staff, and you finish off with more stats at the end. You have your Green Giant and a Pious Giant as well. And then you're looking to have burst damage from the Charging Oryx. Our best light deck managed 22 wins. This one's a Zoo Aggro light deck. Usual strong early games here with your Ritual Rod, Olympian Guard, several 1-drops, and also the 2-drops of Skeleton Heavy, Vanguard Axewoman, Olympian Guard, Devoted Follower. You have health buffs with Battlement Luminary, Holy Enchanter. You have some sort of control with Light's Levy, Imperious Might, and you have your top end with Asterius to give the necessary health and attack boost to close out the game. One thing to note is this version is lacking the Blind Martyr, probably a hard to get card. Otherwise, I think you would include that card in this deck. Our best Death deck finished with 21 wins. This one's an aggro burn version. You're looking to go wide quickly. You have your Expectant Chickens, Demonic Offering, strong turn 2 plays like Pyramid Warden, Skeleton Heavy, Axewoman. Interesting add here, you have a 3 mana 4/4 Greed Banestrider. It does 3 damage to your god, but when you play this on turn 3, or maybe even earlier with a bag, You get a 4-4 solid stats there. Our best deception deck wasn't in the top 20, but managed 18 wins. This one's Hidden Rush. I would call this more a mid-range than the typical aggro version. The typical aggro Hidden Rush, you would see the Shadow Lethanon. This one cuts the cats out of the list. You still have solid, strong early game with Switch Duelist, Felid Assassin, Dark Knives, and Orfeo. And then you have your strong 1-mana support cards here. You have solid 2-mana cards with Pyramid Warden, Skeleton Heavy, and Vanguard Axeman. And then you have a more solid middle game plays with Jinxblade Duelist, Shadewalkers, Phase Touch Golem, and Reflection Elementalist. And there's a surprise top end with Pious Giant. If you're able to generate the favor and play the Pious Giant on turn 6, you're able to drop a 9/9 with Ward, which you can then use the cheat power to start hiding the next turn to push 9 damage to the face directly the next turn. The best War deck I found had 16 wins, again not in the top 20. So this one is an Enraged aggro version that uses the pair. You're looking to go wide early, several 1-drops here at 12 cards and 10 2-drops. You're looking to just flood the board with cards like Card Shark, Wicked Fae. You have strong 2-mana creature cards like Bladecaster, Vanguard Axewoman, Skeleton Heavy. You have Trojan Battle Mage, Raid Reveler, and Viking Longship. And then, of course, the pair to hopefully take advantage of a wide board and give all your creatures on the board +1/+1 for quite a few turns. Let's take a look at our meta snapshot. Again, the last 3 days, which is our weekend ranked, and we're restricting it to the Mythic only. The restriction to Mythic only more closely mirrors the change to matchmaking. We see here, similar to the earlier graph, that the top 3 decks are Light, Magic, and Death. All 3 are sporting 52% win rates, which is very good here. They're also very well represented. 20% of the top players are playing Death, 18% are playing Light, and 12% playing Magic. They have good matchup spreads across the board. Light is positive against 4 gods. Magic is positive against 3, with 60% win rates over a couple of them. And then Death also positive against 4 other gods, with a also 60% win rate over Nature. Nature still has the highest representation at 26%, but has a low win rate here. It can get rough for a Nature player at the Mythic level when you're running into several Magic and Death players. You're looking at a 40% chance to win. And as we saw earlier on the graphs, War and Deception are in a rough spot. They're the lowest played gods at 11% only, 47% for War and 45% for Deception. Deception doesn't have any positive win rates at all across all the gods and still continues that punishing 38% win rate against Nature. Queuing into a Nature player as Deception is very frustrating because you know that you are already starting at a disadvantage most of the time. Saving grace for War is that they can have a coin flip versus Light, but overall there are better options for ranked weekend than playing War and Deception at this point. Obvious choices are Light, Magic, and Death, and even Nature, as shown this past weekend, can capture the 2nd place in the top 10. All right, so here's our top players again. Congratulations on the good performance. Starting to see the wins go down, but again, it's more competitive, and that makes sense with the matchmaking changes. We are still accumulating packs for the next expansion set, so good luck to everyone when we get your packs.